Hi and welcome to the 6th stage of this year's Tour de France. This stage will take us from Montargis to Guignon. The stage is 227.5 kilometers and is the longest of this year's tour. This is some recap footage from earlier today when the peloton left the town of Montargis, and this tour is edging ever so closer to the Alps. But a flat stage is still on the program before we hit the mountains. My name is Dick Henderson, and alongside me is our expert commentator Jim Jones.
Here we can see some footage of the breakaway riders earlier today. Yesterday's winner was Daniele Benatti. Who will it be today?
Well, we will have to wait and see.
We're now ending our recap footage and tuning in live on the 6th stage of this year's tour.
Well, Daniele Benatti was the strongest yesterday, and my opinion is that Mark Cavendish will be the strongest man today.
Well, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. And they're often full of shit. And that's just like Mark Cavendish.
You don't really care for Mark Cavendish, do you, Jim?
Well, he's got great abilities, but he's acting like a spoiled brat.
Well, you can't care for everybody, can you? As we can see the gap between the peloton and the breakaway riders. They got about 3 minutes down to the peloton, as we can see the leading car coming up to Rosseler from Radio Shack and giving him some assistance. And they are working pretty good together. Now the breakaway riders are closing in on the last intermediate sprint of the day, and they will probably not fight over it.
As always, we got a few questions from our viewers. First up is Hansa, and he's asking the following. Hello guys, who are the best placed favorites before the Alps? And whose chances are ruined after the first week?
Well, Levi Leipheimer is closest to the yellow jersey, but all the other favorites are still close, you know. And then it's Cadel Evans, who got dropped on the cobble stage, and Roman Kreuziger as well, got dropped on the cobble stage, and Vinokurov, who fell and came 8 minutes behind the peloton on 2 stages ago, I think. Yeah, it was 2 stages ago.
Right. The next question, however, is from Thomas, and he wants to know, how do you see Carlos Sastra's chances of reaching the podium in Paris? The last year hasn't been great for him.
Well, Carlos Sastre is an experienced rider. Back in 2006 he came in 4th overall in the Tour de France. Then in 2007 he came in 4th yet again. And in 2008, like you all know, he won the Tour de France. But then last year it wasn't so great for him. He came in 17th overall, 17th overall. And I think he wanted revenge this year. So I think he got a good chance of reaching the podium, yes.
Dick, have you forgotten something?
No.
That I'm the expert commentator here?
I'm sorry, I got a little bit carried away. So here's a question for you, Jim. It's from Al Jet. Do you think Lance and Radio Shack can crack Contador in the mountains?
Well, they got the strongest team on the paper, with the riders like Levi Leipheimer and Andreas Klöden. And there's also Chris Horner and Brajkovic. Well, he was the greatest rider in the Tour back in 2007 and 2009. So I think they'll have a really hard time to crack this rider. And besides, he's proving to be the best climber in the world. And he's also got a luxury teammate in Vinokurov. So to be honest with you, I don't think Radio Shack will manage to crack Contador in the mountains.
Well, now back to the racing. We can see that Cervelo Test Team and Radio Shack are really going hard in the front. They will not give any riders any chance to break away now. It's up to the sprinters to go and get this victory for their teams. Well, I cannot see Columbia up front. What about Mark Cavendish?
Yeah, it looks like they're not believing in Cavendish anymore.
Well, I guess that we can scratch him from the list then, as we can see the pace is really picking up now as we are getting closer to the finish line. We are now entering the last 5 kilometers of the stage. Who will bring home the bacon? Now we can see Radio Shack positioning Lance Armstrong up front, trying to avoid any accidents, as we can see Thor Hushovd sitting on the wheel of Davis and McEwen on Freire. And it's Edvald Boasson going for a long sprint, and Hushovd is way back there. As we can see Daniele Benatti going on the other side of the road with Freire and McEwen on his wheel. And it looks like Edvald Boasson is really going to give Daniele Benatti a run for his money. But he's losing ground, and it looks like it's going to be Daniele Benatti. Congratulations. And Thor Hushovd in on 5th place. And he lost some points to Daniele Benatti on today's stage.
Yeah, and after my calculations, Daniele Benatti is only 4 points behind Hushovd. And as the helicam shows, you can see that Hushovd's not even there in the sprint. And Boasson again tried to go for the long sprint, but yet again, he's not got the power for that long sprint.
Tomorrow is the first mountain stage of this year's Tour de France, and I believe that the favorites will try to test each other out a little bit.
No, I don't think so. If you look at the finish, it's not that steep, so I think they'll end up in a big, massive group of favorites.
Well, a quick question from one of our viewers. It's Cycle Freak who wants to know. Does riders like Bradley Wiggins got a chance to win the Tour?
No, I don't think so, seeing as the peloton has never been this strong before. And there are so many riders competing for the yellow jersey, so I think maybe a top 3 would be a realistic goal for him.
Well, Daniele Benatti took 35 points today, and Husov came in 5th place. As we can see from the standings, he's only 4 points behind Thor Husov now, and Edvald Bosenhagen is really coming strong from behind. And Edvald Bosenhagen is a better climber than those 2 riders.
Well, yes, but I don't think he will take any points on the mountain stages. But he will come out with better legs than Thor Hushovd and Daniele Benatti.
Well, we are getting close to the end of the coverage of this stage, as we saw Remy Di Gregorio probably in his last day of the mountain jersey, and some beautiful pictures of the Norwegian Edvald Bosenhagen in the white jersey, who I also believe will be the last day for him in this jersey. We will most likely see a lot of changes in the standings tomorrow, and I hope you tune in tomorrow. I have been Dick Henderson. Alongside me was our expert commentator Jim Jones, and I hope you're ready for the mountains. Arrivederci!